This is Randy with Randy Repairs It. My wife thought it might be a good idea to do a very basic hand tool video. So this video is gauged for people who really have no idea about tools or how to use them. Weren't really taught that, never really gave it a thought. Now maybe you find yourself, you have a home, you own a home, or you have a landlord who's less than, and getting stuff fixed, and you find stuff around your house that you really just need to get fixed. So where do you start? What tools do you need? And we're going to get started on the tools. So I kind of set out a basic tool set of the tools that I use every day. And I think these are essentials for your toolbox. Now, tools can range from exceptionally cheap to exceptionally expensive. For a starter set, you really don't need to spend a whole lot of money on the highest quality or the best brand names or whatever. A hammer is a hammer. I mean, it's going to work. So let's start with a hammer. There's a couple of different kinds of hammers, but we're going to start with, this is kind of a general purpose claw hammer. And the reason it's called a claw hammer is because it's got this claw on it. The hammer has a face, a handle, and the claw, okay, in this case. This is a more expensive claw hammer. It's a Vaughn, it's made in America, it's all solid forged steel. This thing is a workhorse. But you can get less expensive. This is fiberglass and it's lighter. So typically you'll want to get either like a 16 or 18 ounce hammer or a 24 or 28 ounce hammer. But you're going to want to find one that's most comfortable for you. If you're a tradesperson, you're going to know which one is right for what you do every day, and you may need a couple of different ones. But for a homeowner, a small utility claw hammer like this one is fine, okay? Let's talk about it. Go back to this one. All right. The bottom of the handle gives you the leverage that you need to hit the nail or whatever it is you're striking with enough force to drive the nail in, okay? You want to hit nails perpendicular to the ground, to the what they're going through. So when you hit the nail on the head, the nail goes straight down instead of bending over. Now, let's say you miss, you bend the nail over, that's what this thing's for. You can put this underneath the bent nail and pry it out. Pry it out. So put this away. The next thing you need is a screwdriver, a Phillips and a flat. Now the cool thing about screwdrivers and what they do now is you can get screwdrivers that are multi-tools. So they have a flat on one end and a Phillips on the other, and a handle. This was an absolutely free one. It came with a cabinet set that I bought, and so it's free. But I use these every day. I use these every day. Seriously. Phillips head has the little star bit on it, and it's pretty straightforward. The easiest way to remember, and of course if you're an American, you've probably heard people say righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but I think an easier way to remember is if I'm turning it clockwise, the way a clock goes around, I'm tightening it up. If I turn it anti-clockwise or counterclockwise, I'm unwinding it, I'm loosening it. That holds true for 99% of the screws and bolts that you use. There are some left-hand thread bolts that are used in special circumstances, but for common household repairs, you're not likely to come across that. So clockwise to tighten, counterclockwise to loosen. Pretty straightforward with screwdrivers. These are called a Phillips bit. They come in multiple different sizes. I think this is a number one. So number one, this will cover most everything. If you get a number one and a number two, you're going to be able to unscrew most screws. I think I use a number two for just about everything in my drill. I've got an insert bit for the drill, and I'm gonna do a whole video on power tools, basic power tool use, and what to use for power tools. We'll cover all that in another video. But I think if you have a number one for the smaller Phillips screwdrivers and a number two, and the same with the flat head, a number one and number two, you're going to utilize the flat head, which is this blade here, a whole lot less nowadays. It's very rare that you'll find anything with just a slotted screw in it. Most everything has either a Phillips type head or a Torx bit. Just talk about Torx, but this is more of a specialty tool. If you need it, you'll see it. So Torx bits start with a T. The tool will be a T, a T10, a T15, a T20, T25, T30, usually in increments of 5. And you can get a set of these. These were from these are Husky, so I think what are they, Home Depot brand. They're very inexpensive, and again, you might run into these every now and then. I didn't put these in the essential tool kit because, again, it's one of those things you may not need very often. All right, let's go with the pliers. So these are slip joint pliers, and there's several different types of pliers. I recommend that you have the three main types of pliers. A slip joint type like this, or like this. These are water pump pliers, and they essentially do the same thing, but they've got if you see, these have a flat jaw, and these are curved. So these are designed to grab a hold of a bolt head or a nut and crank it down. Again, these are very inexpensive. These are Parkside brand. I live here in Italy, and we can get Parkside at the grocery store. True, you can get tools at the grocery store. It's a average quality tool. It's perfect for a home do-it-yourselfer, not really professional use. And these are Cobalt. These are from the United States. So they're, again, not really expensive, but they're heavier. They're a heavier duty plier. So either one of these is fine. Water pump plier or slip joint plier. Needle nose pliers. These I got off Amazon. They're actually a decent quality. The brand name is Shall, S-H-A-L-L, and they'll hold together. The key point to a good quality needle nose is that when you need to use them, you grab a hold of something that the tips are not twisting and separating out of the way. If you get cheaper ones, that's what'll happen. So you want some heavy duty needle nose. These have a cutter on them, so you can cut, and these also have wire strippers built in. It's kind of a multi-tool in that sense. You can strip the wire, you can cut the wire, you can cut things. So if you have these, you may not need the next thing, which are dedicated wire cutters. These can be used to nip and cut a lot of things too. Again, it's the same brand, Shell, and they're wire strippers and electrical crimpers. This is like an all-in-one tool, and these are pretty heavy duty. All right, an adjustable wrench. This is a great place to start because this wrench can be used on a variety of bolt and nuts. If you have a different size of bolt and you don't have a socket set, or you don't have a regular open end or box end wrench set, you can get this on most of the time. Now these are, and I don't have any bolts with me right now, so I'll have to demonstrate how to use this. But basically, you roll this wheel here, and you can see the jaws tighten up. And if you open the wheel, roll it down the other way, the jaws open up. This tells you which way to turn it. So there's no guessing. You're going to go down with this. You want the long jaw on the top of the bolt or nut, and you're turning to tighten, or you're turning to loosen, but you're taking it that way. If you do it backward, you can get away with it most of the time, but if it's a really tight bolt, you can end up popping the lower gear over the ridges that are in here, because that's not the way these were designed. So you can see Crescent brand puts the way it goes on it. That's the way you run it. Okay. A high quality pair of scissors that you're not going to use anywhere else. And again, these are Crescent brand. I do pay a little more for scissors because I use these to cut thin sheets of steel, sometimes aluminum, all sorts of stuff. And if you get cheap ones, they'll just ding up. These are beasts. They've got a slight angle to them, and it gives you a little more torque when you're cutting. They're titanium coated. These are very nice. A great pair of all-purpose scissors that are not your scissors that you're doing delicate work with, down the road. So just all-purpose. You can see these are grungy. They get used almost every day. All right, couple more things. A utility knife. Now this knife, I love this one because it's a two-in-one again, and you can get lots of different styles of utility knives. So this one's called Tough Built, and the feature with it is if you push up, it turns the blade and you have a scraper. So it's a two-in-one. You turn it back, you've got a cutting knife, and that makes it nice. You can also get the folding style. This is a Hikoki. You can get the folding style that keeps the knife blade away, and you fold it out. And this one has in the handle, it has storage for extra blades, and you can keep your extra blades in there. This is a pretty much a single purpose, just made for cutting. If I was going to cut carpet or linoleum or tiles or even cardboard, I'm going to use this one because it's got the angle on it. I can put my thumb on top, get more leverage, and I know it's locked in. I'm not going to cut my finger off, and I can keep it safe. If you got kids, you lock it away. The kids are going to have a little more trouble getting to it. All right. All right. This is oops, I forgot. A level. Okay. I think this is a necessary tool. Lots of different kinds of levels. I literally use this one almost every day. I'm going to demonstrate this real quick. I've got a couple of different kinds of levels I'm going to show you. So you can see that there are several. So this is called the torpedo level. I don't know, shaped like a torpedo. These come in a couple of different styles. This one here is just really inexpensive, plastic, and it's got the level and the plumb on it, and that's it. Some of them have a magnet on them, and they come in handy. This one has a magnet, so it comes in handy. There's a longer level, okay, and you can get levels that are like 2 meters long, 2.5 meters long. They can be massive. This one has a magnet as well, and this is used to level things, obviously. So I'm gonna show you real quick on this. Okay, I'm gonna use a small one. So when we want something level, the air bubble in the middle needs to be right between the two lines, and you want the bubble as centered as possible, like that. When you have it that way, it is whatever you're doing, the line or whatever, if you're hanging a picture or whatever, it's perfectly level, and that's what you want. Okay? Pretty straightforward, doesn't take a rocket scientist. This is for plumb. What plumb means is that it's perfectly straight up and down. It's perpendicular up and down. It's perfectly straight. What you want this for is if you're setting a picture or something like that, you may want the picture level, but you also want the picture to be straight. So when you set this on the side of it and the bubble's in the middle like that, it's perpendicular. Let me see if I can show you on what I did here. Yeah, so we can get my Hakuna Matata there. Let's do that. Okay, we'll get a little closer. How's that? So let's see if we can see this. So from the top, you can see the bubble is perfectly level, okay? And then from the side, see if I got it perfect. Yeah, look at that. And it's perpendicular there as well. So, hope that makes sense. Get a good little level, preferably one with a magnetic bit. This will come in handy down the road. You'll use this thing all the time. All right, my second oops moment. I forgot I tape measure. So another invaluable tool that you really need to have in your essential tools set. Now, I'm in Italy. European standard is metric. In the U.S., it's a imperial. But I'll show you what the metric. So this is a Stanley 5 meter. This was cost me €8 here. So not a lot of money. $10, under $10. High quality. So it's when you open it up and you see the increments. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's centimeters in this case, and so every centimeter is 10 millimeters. So it's a 10 base system, but the way you read it is this: each small dash on here is a millimeter. It's the easiest way to do it. With an imperial measure, tape measure, and I'll have to dig through my box. I think I brought one over. But those usually are either a 32nd or 64th, depending on the tape measure. So not really difficult to use this, and this will give you a general idea of what the size might be that you need, or how high you're going to put the picture, or whatever it is that you're doing with this. This is a retractable one. It locks, so if you open it to where you want it and you push the button, it'll lock. You let the button up and it closes back. It's got a clip on it. Clip it on your belt or on your pants pocket. So there's that. Let's talk about safety. Most important safety tool you can own, I think, are safety glasses. These are cheap. Get a pair of safety glasses. Okay, but keep something in mind with safety glasses. Safety glasses will stop an impact most of the time, okay? And that's the thing to remember. These are not good if you're using chemicals. If you're splashing bleach or whatever, these are better than nothing, but they're not necessarily going to stop anything from coming up underneath, okay? You need goggles for that. I don't own a pair of goggles because I don't use the chemicals here like that. But if you have the goggles will seal around your skin, and they've got a strap on the back and they fit tight right up against your face. I'm sure you've seen them. And again, those are not expensive either. So safety glasses, I use safety glasses every day. The cool thing about safety glasses is they even have safety glasses if you're a little older and wiser like I am. And these are a little dusty. They have safety glasses with bifocal. These have a bifocal on the bottom. So you can put these on and actually see what you're doing, instead of having to, have your glasses on or put your glasses on, put your safety glasses on over your glasses. So these come in really handy for that. All right. A high quality pair or a good quality pair of leather working gloves can save you from all the nicks and scrapes and scratches that are going to happen as you're doing home improvement anyway. You can get these to do the heavier work, or you can get the cotton gloves. I have some of the cotton style. These are nasty because they get used, but the lightweight can also help protect your hands. All right. If you're doing any kind of dusty work, and I'll talk more about this in the power tool video that I'm going to do, but you want to have a dust mask. Okay, and keep in mind, these are meant to keep dust particulates out of your mouth and nose. These do not stop fumes from paint or chemicals. Okay, it's not. You need a respirator for that. That's a different thing, and it's a specialty tool. For your basic home repair stuff, you're not likely going to need a respirator. You're not, unless you're pulling asbestos out of the wall, then you better hire a company to do that. So, nice dust mask though. If you're doing something dusty, you're cutting through a wall or whatever. So, these are the basics that I recommend that you start with. And you can expand from there, and we'll talk a little bit about that. If you're gonna do some woodworking, let me see if I can find it. So, and I don't do a lot of woodworking, but I have different things. So this is a saw, and this is made to cut wood. This is a Japanese style saw, so it cuts on the back stroke instead of the forward stroke. There's a ton of different styles of saws that you can get, but primarily for wood, you're going to get this style or the traditional forward stroke handsaw. Again, you can spend $5-10 on a handsaw, or you can spend a couple of $100 on a handsaw. It depends. This was cheap. It's a cheap Japanese style handsaw. Another type of saw that you may need or encounter down the road, and I would recommend that be your next purchase down the road, is a hacksaw. Hacksaws are essential for cutting metal in particular. You can use these to cut through a bolt or rebar, anything that's metal. They have a fine tooth blade on them. The blade's replaceable, and again, it's an invaluable tool to have. These are fairly inexpensive and will last you a lifetime if you take care of it. So you just have to change the blades as they get worn out. All right, I hope you found this episode helpful. Again, look for my power tool episode, and we'll talk about different power tools that you may want to have to start with as you start to get on your journey. I'm going to do a demonstration video as well for each of these tools, but I wanted to get this one out to just give you an idea of what you should be shopping for. I don't do links. I'm not an affiliate. I'm not doing this to necessarily make any money. My wife just said, hey, share this information with the people who may not know. So if you like watching me build stuff and fix stuff, I encourage you to like and subscribe. If you want more content like this, leave me a comment, let me know about it. And until next time.